I was born here, 1936. Bradenton was a real small town. It looks like something from outer space. When you see a school of manta rays, they're actually like floating on the top of the water. I mean, it's so graceful, it's so beautiful, and it's so huge. I have a beach house on Little Gasparilla Island, and it's pretty primitive. That's down there where Boca Grande is. And so there's not much traffic in that part of the world, so you get to see a lot of things. And we used to fish a lot, so you ate a lot of wild game back then. The scallops, what we would do is we'd take one of our mother's drawers out of one of her cabinets, like this. We'd take the bottom out of it. We'd put glass in it, so you could push it along the head of it. And that would solve the reflection in the chop in the water. So you could see, like a lens, you could see the scallops easily. And we'd take a big wash tub, put an inner tube around it, and we'd walk along and we'd pick up the scallops and we'd put it in the tub until we got a big mess, and then we'd take them to shore. And they were very plentiful. Clams were very plentiful. Oysters were very plentiful. Some of the places where we went to were called a pantry, because if you wanted to eat something, you could go to the pantry, which was really just a beach and a nice shoreline, but called a pantry. We used to go what's called floundering, and flounder is a fish that has both eyes on one side, and they kind of bury themselves in the sand, and so all you see is an imprint on them. And what we would do, we'd take a two-mantle Coleman lantern, and we'd put a belt around our neck, and we'd walk around like this at night, all over the place. And you'd gig them with a straight steel gig, and that way you'd reach down and pick them up this way, so they never could get away. Then you put them in a croaker bag, a cloth bag strapped to your waist, and that's how you do it. We'd have a little bloody fish right next to the channel where the sharks and everything were. Never thought anything about it. But we would sell the fish to some of the nursing homes because there was a shortage of things they could get. We'd sell them for pretty good money. It's a lot of fun. It's called floundering. It's a very, very fun thing to do. We do it just about all night long. And now nobody does that anymore. So some of the bad things about all the boat traffic is fish and scallops need grass. And when you have a lot of turbulence, the sand covers the grass. See, so then you don't have scallops, and you don't have a place for the minnows to hide. And so that way you don't have the fish coming there to eat the minnows. I shouldn't tell you this. There was a place down off Siesta Key called Midnight Paps, used to be. So we take half-inch hemp rope, and we take a shark hook that would be on like a 6-foot chain, great big hook. We put 3 fish on it, 3 big fish, and we'd wade out, and we'd throw it just as far as we could to catch a shark. In order not to lose our line, we would tie the rope around our waist, 2 of us. Had it been a big shark, you wouldn't be talking to me now. So there'd be 3 or 4 carloads of us, boys and girls. We'd go out there, and we'd always invite the Cortez girls, because Cortez is a fishing village. And the Cortez girls were always dirty, and also they'd always bring their fish. So they'd all be clean. So we'd build a fire just like the Indians used to do. We'd build a fire, and we'd take sticks, forked sticks, and we'd put the forked sticks through the gills of the fish after we washed them in salt water. And so they would turn a bronze color, and they'd be cooked in no time. We'd put our blankets out. Longboat Key Police would come check on us 2 or 3 times a night. We'd spend Friday night, Saturday night, and sometimes Sunday night, depending on when the school was. And we'd dance and just have a great time. We used to swim way out past the sandbars and float in the moonlight for hours. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful lifestyle. Sarasota, of course, had the circus. The Ringland, eastern part of Sarasota, was a circus quarters. And so we used to love to go down there and feed heads of lettuce to the hippopotamus, And they had a gorilla down there named Gargantua, just a great big thing, huge. He played with tires and stuff. When I was little, we did that. We'd go down there quite often because my Uncle George was there. And we'd go visit all of the different things. It was the winter quarters, so you could just mosey around in there. You pay almost nothing to get in. It's just, you're right there where they lived. They weren't putting on a show. You were just right there where they lived. I had an elephant given to me. There was a man named Rex Williams, stage name. He was from Europe, and he was a trainer for Ringling and Barnum Baby Circus. He was a trainer. He trained elephants. He's world famous for doing that. And he has a wife named Ava, and he had 2 daughters. And his daughters were the same age as my daughters. And so they got to be friends. And his daughters would come to my house, and my daughters would go to his house, and he kept the elephants at his house. You know, just like you keep a dog. He kept elephants. It had a chain, you know, so he couldn't wander off. And he had a beautiful elephant with great big tusks. And it was the one that was the poster for the circus. This big, beautiful elephant with huge tusks. And he had a blanket on the top of it. And then he had a tiger on the blanket. And his wife, Ava, was pretty. She had long blonde hair. And she'd ride on the back of the tiger. So you had the elephant, the tusk, the blanket, you know, which was like an Indian rug, real fancy. And the tiger, great big tiger, probably weighed 600 or 700 pounds, big teeth. And then his beautiful wife right on top of that. That was the poster you saw everywhere. Because it's unbelievable. So, but it happened. So he called me up one day, and he speaks a little bit of English. He said, "Rodney, I bring elephant to your house." And I said, "No, Rex, not today, though." And he said, "Good, thank you. I'll bring the elephant to your house." You understand what we're going to say. So I could just see my wife's going to kill me because I'm coming home with a great big old elephant. And so I said, "No, do not bring elephant." He says, "Good, I'll be there. I'll be there." You understand what I said? So I said, "Let me speak to Ava," his wife. She speaks English. And I said, "Ava," I said, "I can't keep the elephant at my house." She said, "You know you can't, Rodney. We've been to your house. You have a lot of land. We're going to bring the elephant." And I said, "Please don't do that." I said, "You know, your little girls, my little girls playing around there with that elephant, they're liable to get stalked on." She says, "You're probably right. Then don't bring the elephant." So I didn't bring the elephant. Come to find out, the reason they were giving me this elephant was worth a ton of money is because it had that arthritis. They were spending $400 a week for cortisone to give the elephant shots. So I would have had a doctor's bill, minimum $20,000 a year just to keep the elephant, and it would live a long time. So thank God I didn't have the elephant.